right, hello. Welcome to Charon's Christian Kitchen today. Hello. Hi there. Thank you guys so much for being here at Charon's Christian Kitchen. Today I am baking cookies, and I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks I don't normally show to other people. I'm going to show you guys. So I hope you guys are ready. Get your pens and pencils ready so that you can learn some cool new stuff. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. So, I already have my butter, sugar, flavoring, and everything like that. I do need some brown sugar, but I don't have any brown sugar. I didn't buy any. So we're going to make some, okay? And it's going to be super simple and so quick to do. All you need is some white sugar and some molasses, okay? And so it's 2 tablespoons to every 1 cup of white sugar, okay? And all you need is of course, a tablespoon, a nice size area where you're going to be putting it in, and a fork, which I completely forgot to get, so I got to get myself a fork. So, boom. Alright, so we have our sugar, we have our molasses, and our tablespoon, and a fork. Alright. I'm going to pull you guys down here so you guys can see what's going on here. Here we are. Let's see if I can move this over just a little bit. Alright, so we have 1 cup of white sugar in here, and I'm going to take my molasses and I'm going to put it inside my white sugar. Thanks so much for joining. Okay, we're making brown sugar. Thank you for coming. So I'm going to push it all out. Make sure I get all that yummy molasses out. And I'm going to do it one more time because it's 2 tablespoons. And make sure that all goes down in there. Thank you so much for joining. So now that we have that all together, we are going to put this off to the side and use our fork, okay? And we're just going to start mixing the molasses into our sugar. And a lot of people don't know this. Like, people are like, oh, brown sugar is super healthier. It's like, it is not. And let me tell you why. Because, of course, it's just white sugar and molasses. So you're putting sweet upon sweet. Okay? And that's how you get the wet texture. The level of molasses in this white sugar creates the dark or the light brown sugar that you see in the stores. So that's the level of molasses that is inside of the sugar. So as you can see, it's coming together. Can you guys see that? Isn't that awesome? So you're going to keep kind of just working the molasses into the sugar, okay? Just keep working it. And it's going to take just a little bit, but not too long, okay? And you could do this in a stand mixer if you wanted to, but it's kind of cool doing it by hand, okay? We're making brown sugar, okay? We have 1 cup of white sugar, and we used 2 tablespoons of molasses to make our brown sugar, and we're just mixing very well with a fork so we get all the little pieces of white sugar and molasses into making a brown sugar. We're making brown sugar, guys. And essentially we're making a dark brown sugar because we used 2 tablespoons. If you wanted to do a light brown sugar, then you would only use 1 tablespoon per cup. Okay? So as you can see how beautiful that is. See how it's coming together? Isn't that awesome? We're making our own brown sugar because we're baking cookies today. So today I'm going to be baking some of my best-selling cookies, which are Almond Joy cookies. So we are going to be doing that today. Alright, so we're just making, and you want to use a fork because it kind of just helps to break up the molasses pieces, because what happens is the molasses turns into like little lumps inside, so it's good to kind of smash it in with the sugar. What are you making brown sugar from? White sugar and molasses. Okay? White sugar and molasses. So we are just mixing it through. There was a little white sugar that was hiding in the corner, so we kind of just made sure that we did away with all that. So now it's coming together. Can you guys see how beautiful this brown sugar is? And it smells awesome too. Like, look, it's nice and wet, perfect, so that you're able to pack it into whatever, you know, your cup measure. And this is now ready to be used, okay? Now you can keep this in a bowl like this. Keep it covered, because once it starts drying out, it's not going to be that good, okay? But you can do this on your own, or you can just go ahead and buy brown sugar. But sometimes it's kind of cool to kind of watch and make your own. Hi, thank you so much, Global Design, for coming in. So you guys, it's kind of cool to make your own brown sugar. For your own like recipes. Like you can use this for teriyaki. You can use this for glazing like chicken or pork or whatever, or you can even use this for bacon. Hi, how are you? You can even use it for bacon. You know how like they make candied bacon with pepper on it? You can put this on top of your bacon and then add some freshly cracked pepper on top of that. And now you have a candied peppered bacon. And that is really good to put on top of a salad or something. So yeah, like this brown sugar can be used for so many things. But I only need a half a cup of it. Okay? I hope you are. Amen. Doing very, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, so, like I said, we have our butter in here, our sugar, and our flavorings for our cookie. Because I'm making an Almond Joy cookie. So I need my measuring cup. And we're going to be measuring a half a cup of brown sugar now that we've made it. We've now packed it. Yes, brown sugar is good to use, but not this type of brown sugar. The brown sugar that's really good to use is turbinado sugar. It is like that sugar in the raw. That is good. Why? Because it's not refined or anything like that, and it's literally in its raw state. And that's the brown sugar that you want to use. This brown sugar is white sugar and molasses. I was just mentioning that. A lot of people think that this type of brown sugar is good. I mean, it is if you can get like some really good like molasses like this one. It's unsulfured molasses. This stuff is really good. But you're still using refined sugar, so you know. I guess you kind of have to take the good with the bad. All right, so there we are, and we're going to put this in the mixer in just a moment because we need to cream our butter and our sugar and everything like that. So when you're making cookies, let me pull this up. So when you're making cookies, you need to cream it. It doesn't say just to mix it up really well. Creaming. That means that your sugar needs to be mixed in perfectly into the butter, okay? Do not skip this step. Do not skip this step because your cookies will not come out the way they're supposed to if you do not cream your butter and your sugar together, okay? It is so important. Like, I'm not talking about just a quick, like, little mix. Like, the butter and sugar needs to be as one. They need to be a nice marriage. Like, two become one. Two become one. Okay. So, we have our stuff. And I'm going to take you all with me to my area. I know, it's funny. It's true, though. How much do I eat, girl? Well, you know what? I eat as enough so that I'm satiated. Okay? Thanks. If you really want to start trolling, you should probably go to another scope. Okay? Thank you. I'm just gonna tell you to exit. I'm not gonna block you. I'm just gonna tell you to exit. All right. So here I am in my corner, my beautiful corner of cooking or baking and everything like that, because it has my KitchenAid and everything like that. So let me move this out of the way, that way you can see. So I hook up my thingy, my bowl, to my KitchenAid, and I'm putting my paddle mixer in here because I want to cream, okay? So I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to let it go. And yes, it's a little loud, but we have to get it creamy. So now our butter and our sugar is mixing up very nicely. Let me go ahead and pull this over. It's going to be a little loud, friends, but bear with me. Okay? There we go. I'm going to turn it on just a little quicker. You guys can see. And you see how the butter and the sugar is creaming together. Okay? Takes a little bit. I do have a juicer. I'm a cook. I have a lot of different gadgets. Like, I'm kind of spoiled with my gadgets, but you know, when you cook and you've been cooking for like 20 years, you kind of just make sure you have everything so you can do everything. It's yes. If you're not making noise in the kitchen, you're not really cooking. I'm just saying about that. Okay, so now it's time for the 2 eggs, okay? 2 eggs. And you can do this room temperature or not. Connection is bad. Oh, horrible. I don't know what to say about that, except for it looks good on my end. Maybe go out and come back in, please. That'd be awesome. Okay, so I'm going to get the 2 eggs. It's horrible. Gosh, it's always horrible. I don't even know what to say about that. I've tried to, if it was my modem, I was on the phone with Comcast for like an hour. I completely reset my phone. I took Periscope off and put it back on. Like, I cannot figure out why the connection is bad. So please accept my apologies, but I've tried everything. So, anywho, yay, it's good now. Yay. Okay, so I need to grab 2 eggs. Cast on blog TV. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you so much. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to grab my 2 eggs. I always grab them from the refrigerator because I just do. You know, 2 regular eggs. And I'm going to just... And this is also an important piece too, because the eggs are supposed to be completely mixed in with the butter and the sugar, okay? Again, this is a step you can't not do this step. This step is important. The creaming of the sugar and the butter with your flavorings and the eggs, they all have to go into one, okay? This, it cannot be, it can't. Let me get just a little, there we go. All right. This is gonna make your cookies come out so awesome. So again, when you're making your cookie batter, like your butter and your sugar have to be creamed, and the eggs need to like be almost like a batter consistency when you're making your cookies, okay? Batter consistency. They're making noise in the kitchen. Okay, perfect. so now we have a nice, are your eggs room temperature? No, they're not, but you can do room temperature. I don't do room temperature because this is how I've always been baking. Unless I'm making a cake, then I do like room temperature. I'll let them set out all night and then I'll, you know, bake with them and everything like that. But with my cookies, I just pull them out from the refrigerator. It's all good as long as you follow the techniques that I'm telling you. Like, that's fine. Okay, so we have now a good batter consistency. Let me bring you guys over. I hope you guys can see this. I don't have that much light over here in this corner, but I don't know if you guys can see the consistency of the batter here. It's kind of dark. I don't know what to say about that. But it's like, let me see if I can, this might work. So, see, it's kind of like wet. 1 egg to go bad, leaving them out. No, they won't. No, they won't. Now, if they're out for like a couple of days, yeah, they're probably going to go bad. Okay, so yeah, so your eggs and your butter and your sugar have to be like a shiny consistency, okay? It's like a batter almost, okay? Pull you guys back here just a little bit and pull you up. All right, so now we need our flour, okay? And we're also, hi, bread and butter 420. Hi, thanks so much for joining. Okay, so butter, sugar, flavorings, eggs. Now we need our flour and our leavening agents. Now, baking soda actually has more leavening power than baking powder. You need to bring cookies to Nashville on the 24th. Actually, I can send them. I can send them to you guys. And they can arrive there. Okay. Okay, so let me go get my leavening agents. Now, baking soda and baking powder are good leavening agents. Now, I don't know what it is about me, because I've been doing this for a very long time, but I really like a little bit of baking powder in my cookies. It just does something. I lost signal and didn't hear you. Okay, baking soda and baking powder are 2 good leavening agents. Now, baking soda actually has more leavening power than baking powder. Baking soda has more leavening power than baking powder. I know. Blows your mind. It blew my mind too. Okay, so I'm going to use a little bit of baking powder because I like what it does in the oven. I like what it does in the oven. Okay, now we're going to need our flour. And don't ever forget to use salt in your baking stuff. People go, I don't use salt. I'm not going to put salt. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, like, baker to person baker, amateur baker to person who's been baking for a long time. Check this out. If you don't put salt in your baked good is not going to taste good. Why? Because the salt makes the sugar taste good. Seasoning. It's kind of like, you know, being the salt of the earth. Kind of is the same exact things. We have to be salty. We have to be good. We're seasoning. We like make everything sweet again. It's good. Trust me. I promise you. It's good. Okay, so let me go get some salt. It's going to be real quick. Super quick. And just a pinch will do. You don't need like a whole thingy of salt like this. Just a pinch. Inside your baked good. I promise you, your baked good will be elevated. Alright? Okay. Now, our flour. Okay. So, a lot of people, so unless it says sifted, you don't need to sift your flour for your cookie. Otherwise, it's not going to be strong enough for like the stuff that you're going to be putting in, okay? For instance, I'm going to be putting almonds and coconut and dark chocolate chips. If you start sifting your flour for your cookie, you're not going to have enough, like, give for that. So that was 2 cups and 3. Okay. Alrighty, so now we're going to mix this up on a low speed. If you have a KitchenAid mixer, don't put your finger up in there. Bad news bears, it will cut off. Okay, so now as the batter is coming together, you want to turn it off now. Now is the time that you want to start adding, like, goodie stuff in here. So, let me get you my goodies. Dark chocolate, coconut, and almonds. So I'm making a Almond Joy cookie. It's like one of my favorite cookies. I don't know what I did. I don't know why. One day I wanted some Almond Joy, but, excuse me, I didn't want the candy. I wanted, like, a cookie. And so I was like, how can I put all the bells and whistles of the candy into a cookie? And I made up this recipe. So, this is not a recipe that you can find anywhere else. It is my recipe. I made it up in my little brain of mine. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me my brain. And so now we're going to put in a good amount of almonds. And I don't even measure it. I don't measure it. I just don't. I don't. So I don't know how many. I just know that I put enough in there so it can taste good. Okay. Coconut. And I always try to make sure I put equal parts in it. Okay. So, there's some more coconut. Coconut. And because I'm feeling super awesome, dark chocolate chips. And we're going to put a good amount of that. Okay, super. All right, now that all that's taken care of, I'm going to add just a little bit of coconut extract so I can lift up that extra coconut flavor. Boom, 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 boom. And we're going to mix-a-roo. While that's mixing, alright, now everything is completely mixed up, and we have now made a flavorful, delicious cookie dough. Now we gotta pull this down. Let me show you guys my cookie dough. Isn't this awesome? Oh my gosh, if you guys could just smell this. Look at how beautiful this is. It's nice and moist, and it's not dry, and has, ow, and it has a bunch of stuff in it and everything like that. It's perfect. So, I got my little cookie scoop. I'm going to use that. And I have a spatula, and we're going to go back to the oven. Okay, so now that I have my oven on 350 degrees, okay, and I got my cookie dough all ready. So exciting. Alright, I'm going to close this up, and we have a cookie sheet. Now, I've been baking for so long that my cookie sheet is seasoned. You should always use a seasoned cookie sheet. A seasoned cookie sheet meaning that it's a cookie sheet that you use all the time. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be like completely greased because it's seasoned. You've been using it all the time. It's something that it's always used. It's kind of like the thing as being an elder in the church. You are seasoned. It's kind of the same thing. Okay, so. Woo. All right, so here's my pan. See how it's already like glossy and everything like that? And this is cleaned. I cleaned it up. But a seasoned pan is a good pan because you don't have to add anything to it. Okay, so we have our cookie sheet. I know. I'm crazy. I'm just a little crazy, okay? Just bear with me. But it's good though. It's good. All right, so we're going to take our cookies and I'm going to pull this down so you guys can see what's going on here. All right. So you want to make sure that your cookie scoop is loaded with everything, okay? And it's flattened off. So I'm flattening it in my bowl, and then I'm releasing, okay? Now you always want to have at least 12 cookies on your pan, okay? What's 12 cookies? It is a dozen. So you always want to make at least a dozen, put a dozen cookies on your pan, okay? There we go. And it makes perfect cookies. All right? So once this is all taken care of, we will flatten them out on here. So, and you want to make sure it's all completely loaded, okay? So you see how I'm flattening it on the side? And that's what you want to do. Take it and flatten it. You want to make sure each cookie has a good amount of all the good stuff in one scoop, okay? All right. There we go. Some almonds in here, some coconut, the dark chocolate. This is going to be phenomenal. So good. Okay, perfect. So now we have all of our cookies on the sheet. Now I'm going to flatten them out with my little trusty spatula. So we want to just flatten them out just a little bit. Okay. Just flatten them out just a little bit. I hope you guys can see that. Flatten. So I want them all to have like the same exact size, and I want them to look the same, and you know, the more equal, donate to Viral MAC CoverGirl Foundation. Okay. Okie dokie. Alright, so now that our cookies are all flattened out, we're going to put them into the oven. Perfect. So now we're going to wait a little bit of time. Does anybody have any questions while my cookies are baking on making cookies or, you know, making brown sugar? Again, cookies are kind of one of those things that some people love to do and some people don't like doing. Why? Because it's maybe time consuming for them. They burn them. They're not uniform size. They're just whatever the case. But I've been doing cookies for a long time, so whether I have this or my fingers, I mean, you know, we can still make a uniform like thing. If you're having a situation with making your cookies, you know, like puff up and everything like that, maybe adding a little bit of baking powder to that. That's going to help kind of puff them up a little bit, and it also helps them to be just a little teeny soft as well. Another thing is about cookies is that you always need to add the salt. The salt is everything. If you don't add salt, I promise you they're not going to taste as good as they can be. And we want all of our goodies to taste amazing. You know, it's kind of like that, what is that in the cookie? And it's literally just adding salt, you know, big thing. Also, too, your ingredients want to be really, really good. You always want to find really good ingredients, like a really good vanilla that you like, really good, like, chocolate chips, you know. Try not to get generic, unless you really like the taste of generic. I love, like, a really good, like, I think it's, like, Toll House I use, or no, I'm sorry, it's Nestle. Nestle is my thing. I don't know what it is about Nestle. Between Nestle and Ghirardelli, those are the two chips that I really like the best. So, no, please go. So, so anywho, so those are the things that I, you know, are the biggest tips about making cookies. Also, too, the creaming of it. Like, the creaming part is everything. You must make sure that your butter and your sugar are married together in the creaming process, along with your egg. You add your egg in there, and then it becomes like almost like a batter. Then you're able to add your flour and your leavening and things like that, and your salt. And you, I promise you, have a perfect cookie every single time. But if you skip those steps, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Like, cut it. Okay. So I need to make a cookie cooling station. What is a cookie cooling station? A cookie cooling station is where you put your cookies as they cool. So you always want to get that together before your cookies come out of the oven, okay? It's really, really simple. So I have a rack that I love using, and I make sure I put it right next to where I'm baking, and I kind of have like a little system. So let me make sure I show you guys how to do that. So I have my, pulling it out of my dishwasher because I made cookies yesterday. Here is my rack. It's like a regular rack. I can't even remember where I got it. It kind of expands open and everything like that. So I make sure I put that in its area. Move this cookie batter back here so I can show you guys. There we go. All right. So cookie cooling station is here. So now, if you're going to be, like, doing anything, like, with your cookies, for instance, like, last night I made a tuxedo cookie, and I think I still have some of those. Let me show you guys some of my tuxedo cookies from yesterday. These are my tuxedo cookies. I have dipped them in chocolate on the tip, and I just...
That's the cookie.
Here, you can have this cookie. When I make them for the home, they are like this. When I make them for like gourmet cookies, this is what they look like. But they are a yummy, yummy cookie. And if you're doing anything with like glazes or chocolate or anything like that, you probably want to put a paper towel underneath your cookie rack, or your cookie rack. That way, it's easy cleanup. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be like glazing cookies, and then all of a sudden you have like the whole like counter you need to clean up. So, hi, thanks so much for joining the Evidence Coach. Thank you. So, I'm just showing everybody my tuxedo cookies, and we're making almond joy cookies, dark chocolate almond joy cookies. So, there are these. These back. All right. So, we are waiting just a little bit of time for our cookies and everything like that. We just made a cookie cooling station right here, okay? And the next thing you're going to need for your cookie cooling station is a good spatula. I have my favorite spatula right here. It's a long one. And it kind of helps me to kind of get, like, the good ones and get underneath the cookies and everything like that. So then I put that there. You always want everything at arm's reach when you're baking your cookies. Now, here's my cookie cooling station. I have an area right here. See my hands? This is where my cookie sheet's going to come out. So the cookies come out. they go here to cool, okay? It's so important that you have this type of technique going on here, everything in order, so that you're not scrambling around like trying to figure out where you're going to put your cookies and where you're going to put this and you're going to put that, and just, no. Make it easier for yourself and kind of just work with the area that you have, okay? So we have a couple more minutes out. Oh, actually, I think we are done with this batch. So let me pull out this batch, which is perfect because I'm almost running out of time. Look how perfect. Oh my goodness. So you kind of let them hang out on the cookie sheet for just a little bit of time. Just a little bit of time. Not too much time. Well, let me make sure I have this in my hand. That way I don't burn myself because it just came out of the oven. I like to touch hot pans when they come out of the oven, and then I have a surprise, and then I wonder why I burn myself. Okay, so here are our cookies. Look how beautiful. Nicely puffed and raised. They are perfect. Every cookie is the same exact size. Why? Because we used a nice scoop. We flattened out our scoop and everything like that. And so now we get to put them on our cookie cooling station. Cookie cooling station. So here we go. Look how beautiful these cookies are. We used dark chocolate. We used almond. We used coconut because they are almond joy cookies, you all. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There we go. Isn't that awesome? I love making cookies. They are awesome. In fact, actually, cookies they are called small cakes, actually. Back in the day, they were called small cakes for a long minute, because people didn't want a big cake. They wanted something small, so they started to call them small cakes. And then they became cookies, because they're short for another word, abroad. I can't remember what that is right now, but hold it to my head and not my heart. All right, thank you so much for joining. All right, so we're going to start loading up our pan once more, and I will take some extra questions if need be. Put these up here. All right. So now we're making another batch of these cookies. We want to make sure that we get all sorts of yummy stuff inside of our cookie. These are dark chocolate almond joy cookies. They smell so divine, and they're going to taste amazing. Okay. Flat, flat, flat. Okay. There we go. Alright. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Charon. You guys have just stepped into my Christian kitchen, and we are making almond joy cookies. I've showed you how to make brown sugar. If you just came in, please make sure you check out the replay so you can know how to make some brown sugar from scratch. You didn't buy it, we made it. And we talked about cookies and the best way to cream them, and any pitfalls that you may have in baking cookies. Okay, so now that we have our pan loaded up again, we're going to flatten out our cookies, and then we're going to put them into the oven. All right. Okay, I can touch the pan just a little bit because it's now cool. Okay, so here we go. Beautiful almond joy cookies. Oop. Stay in your lane, little cookie. Okay. All right. Again, here are beautiful dark Almond Joy cookies going into the oven. Alright, so that is how you make, like, seriously, like, the best cookies. Now, I've given you guys some really good nuggets. I usually don't give to other people. Why? Because I'm a baker. We tend to kind of just keep it all together. Like, it's information that I found out. I've been doing this for 20 years, so it's kind of just like, I'm not going to tell you all my information, how to make good stuff, but I gave you guys some really good nuggets. So if you're ever getting this at the end right now, please make sure you check out the replay. You can do two things with the replay. You can still share out to Twitter, and you can still heart it up. Heart. And you can follow us on World Changers Sister Tribe. If you have not already joined World Changers Sister Tribe, you can go to bit.ly/join Sister Tribe now, and you can make sure that you can get into a life-changing group. You will not be the same by being in this group. I promise you that, okay? So I just want to thank you guys so much for coming into my Christian kitchen. Today we made Almond Joy cookies. So I thank you so very much. If you're just coming in, check out the replay. That way you can get all the good stuff. All right? Okay, I got to get out of here because my time is up, and I thank you guys so much. Have a fantastic evening.